Welcome back. We have some new developments we want to share with you in the Ghislaine Maxwell federal case. According to a January 12th letter sent to the federal judge presiding over the case, her name is Loretta Preska, Maxwell will no longer fight to keep the names of 8 John Does secret and instead will leave it to the court to decide. The names stem from a 2015 defamation case brought by accuser Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell. And although that civil case was settled back in 2017, Maxwell had been fighting for several years to keep the judge from unsealing those court documents relating to the case. Now, all of this comes after Maxwell was convicted last month on 5 of the federal charges brought against her, including sex trafficking of a minor in connection to her role in Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse operation of minor girls between the years 1994 and 2004. So now these John Does are going to have to try to use their own attorneys to try to keep their names out of the public realm if they so choose to do that. And Ghislaine Maxwell, by the way, has had a sentencing date pushed back till June. June is when she's going to be sentenced. In the meantime, her lawyer's trying to get her another trial. We know the federal government's trying to wheel and deal and say, hey, we'll take the perjury charges off the table if you just go to your sentencing in June. So much to talk about. Let me bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Marcia Minot. She's in Atlanta, Georgia. She's been watching this one with us since the time Ghislaine was arrested. Marcia, we talked about this, and now here we are. She's a convicted criminal, and now it seems like, has she just given up, that she's saying, I'm no longer going to protect these guys? How do you read it, please?
I think it might be getting expensive for her to fight somebody else's battle, because when you're talking about the revealing of information that has nothing and no bearing on her case, now that she's been convicted, I think it might be expensive to keep paying attorneys to try to file motions and to keep going back to court to protect the identity of individuals that probably did nothing to assist her while she was being tried in her case.
Mm-hmm. And we know we've heard, so many different rumblings about very, high profile, powerful men who could be connected. But up until now, we haven't heard anything. And I think that's come as a surprise to a lot of people, myself included. I thought the minute that feds raided her house and she's hiding in her bathroom with her cell phone all wrapped up in tinfoil, that she was going to sing like a canary, and that never happened. Stunning that there was no deal struck up. Many people have wondered why. And then now suddenly with this letter, it kind of just signals that, oh, okay, I'm not going to be protecting anyone any longer. Sentencing's not till June, Marcia. Do you think the federal government might try to deal with her in this regard? Because they tried dealing on the perjury charges, and that I'm sure the defense team laughed at. What do you think about this as a viable way of securing some kind of an agreement as to sentence for Maxwell?
It's a possible bargaining chip for her attorneys. However, once a prosecutor has gotten a conviction, it is very unlikely that they start bargaining. And if they do, it has to be somebody very critical that they want to go after. It has to be somebody at the top that they think she was going to testify or if she was going to cooperate with revealing those individuals, that they would be able to bring down a conglomerate, a big sex ring or something like that. Usually that has to be something that's going on for you to see a prosecution agree to a plea deal to get a lighter sentence after the trial and after the jury has spoken.
Mm-hmm. Right. And to make that clear, I'm glad you said an agreement as to sentence. This would not be an agreement on the charges. It seems like they're not going to accept that agreement about withdrawing the perjury charges for her to just agree to be sentenced. She wants a new trial. But, perhaps if she were to agree to let it stand, they could say, OK, no prison time for you if you give us all these other names, and if you're willing to provide testimony. Like you said, Marcia, it has to be more to go after them in a court of law. So this would just be names in that deposition from years ago with Virginia Giuffre. I have to leave it there for now, but we're going to continue watching this one, let you know if there's anything more developing in Ghislaine Maxwell's case. Marcia Minot, thank you kindly for weighing in. Coming up after this break, authorities have released body camera footage from the officers who arrived on the scene after one of their own shot and killed a man while he was off duty. We'll play it for you right after this break.